everyone, it's Floor Cruz from Badass Mother Birther, and what I want to talk to you guys about is how you transition your breastfed, chest-fed baby from going to nursing to going to a bottle. Now, a lot of you guys will be going back to work or have a need to transition baby to the bottle, but you also want the baby to go from the bottle back to the breast, and you want to help manage this relationship as best as you can. One of the key elements of sustaining a good relationship of going to breast, chest, bottle, and back is having the right kind of bottle. There's so many bottles out on the market, and upon doing a lot of my research, I ran across a bottle called the Minbie. The Minbie bottle is an award-winning bottle that is made specifically for people who nurse, who are trying to introduce the baby to the bottle and to go back to nursing again. The cool thing about the Minbie teat is that it is specially designed to do exactly what the mother's nipple does inside the baby's mouth. Other bottles really don't have this kind of design. This design is absolutely vital to getting your baby to transition back and forth if you want to sustain that breastfeeding relationship that you have with the baby. What we don't want to happen is that you give the baby a regular bottle and the baby has this really big flow of milk, baby gets full really fast, baby starts to favor the bottle, and then baby really doesn't want to go back to the breast. Baby starts to kind of want the bottle a little bit more, and this is where it can get kind of scary for a lot of mothers, birthing people, when they're just trying to do the transition back and forth. This is why having a good bottle is going to play a vital role in that relationship. The Minbie bottle is designed specifically to help you nurture that relationship. This is what the newborn bundle of joy looks like when it comes inside of the box. This one actually has 4 nipples inside of the bottle. These bottles are BPA free. They also have preemie teats, and it goes all the way up to the regular sizes. And the cool thing about these nipples is it also has a paste feeding float teat, which is what you're gonna want. It's what you're gonna need if you want your baby to transition from the breast to the bottle, bottle back to the breast seamlessly. So this is an awesome product that I recommend for people who want to nurture breastfeeding but also need to have a bottle feeds in there. The Minbie teat actually has the closest teat to breastfeeding. It supports instinctive breastfeeding latch. It supports instinctive breastfeeding motion, supports babies to breastfeed. It's anti-reflux, anti-colic valve, latch and motion, and protects nipple confusion if you do use this as the first bottle that you are introducing to the baby. So take a look at this teat. What I want you to notice is the shape of this. This is an award-winning shaped teat right here. This is what your nipple looks like inside of the baby's mouth. So this is gonna help the baby to instinctively latch onto this just like they would at the breast. The awesome thing about these teats is there is also a vent at the top of the teat right here, which is going to move air away from the nipple, which is what is going to be so excellent when you are introducing paste bottle feeding to your baby. I want you guys to know how important it is to have the right bottle when you are doing this. The Minbie supports the instinctive latch-on. It supports instinctive breastfeeding motion. It avoids nipple confusion when used as the first and only bottle. It avoids a lazy feeding, anti-reflux and anti-colic feeding motion, which supports good digestion. It nurtures a proper breastfeeding latch, which is awesome. Strengthens breastfeeding coordination. It supports the baby's control of the feed. It encourages a proper, comfortable anti-mastitis breastfeeding latch. Minbie is made of premium quality. It's German source, soft, flexible, BPA-free silicone. Before introducing a bottle to your baby, you want to make sure that you and your baby have solidified the breastfeeding relationship. This means that you guys have a good latch going, you've seen a lactation consultant if you need to, your supplies coming in, everything's pretty much going on the up and up. Because when you introduce a bottle, you want to make sure that you and the baby have built this trusting relationship and you guys are communicating well between the two of you guys before you introduce a bottle. Usually this might take around 4 to 5, maybe 6 weeks. This is kind of a good time to start introducing a bottle to the baby. I recommend that you use the Minbie bottle to do this. You don't need to do a lot of pumping. You really only need to do about 1 pump a day. Most women tend to find that they have more milk in the mornings. So what you can do is have your baby do their first feed in the morning, and then you can wait about an hour and then pump for about 15 to 20 minutes. You don't need to really want to be storing more than 2 to 3 ounces in a bag. Babies don't generally eat more than 2 to 3 ounces at a time when they are feeding, so you don't want to be storing more than that in a storage bag. When you are storing it, please put it inside of your freezer, not touching any food or anything like that. We don't want to have any type of contamination of the breast milk. Your breast milk is good for 6 months in a freezer. If you get a deep freezer, it will last you for about a year. When you are defrosting your milk, please do not put it in boiling water. Do not put it on your stove. Do not put it in the microwave. When you are defrosting your milk, the best way to do it is to either put it out on a counter and let it slowly defrost on its own, or put it in a bowl of warm water so it just slowly defrosts. If you defrost something at too high of a temperature, you're going to be killing a lot of the nutrients that are in breast milk, and those are the nutrients that you do want your baby to have. You don't need to be pumping for extreme amounts of time every day. You don't need to be working yourself to the bone. Pumping once a day and storing it all the way until you go back to work or whatever you need to do is fine. You will find that you will build a pretty good stash if you just pump once a day from the time your milk comes in. I'm not suggesting that you do lots of pumping throughout the day to store a bunch of milk. I don't feel like women need to do this to build up a pretty good stash. I feel like pumping once a day in the mornings every day is good enough to build a stash. You should have a partner or someone else besides you show the baby how to do paced bottle feeding with the Minbie bottle. I recommend anyone who's going to be bottle feeding your baby knows how to do paced bottle feeding, which this video is going to be your educational point of showing people of how to paste bottle feed your baby. You can also give someone an item of clothing of yours or daddy's so baby can smell it and keep calm. What you can also do too when you are pumping or you're away from your babies, you can have an item of theirs that smells like the baby. Thinking about your baby, seeing a picture of your baby, maybe you can have a recording of sounds, a video of your baby. All of these things are going to be filling images in your head and bringing oxytocin and helping you with your letdowns when you are pumping and you are not near your baby. Also, when you are pumping, it is very important to remember that you should keep on your baby's breastfeeding schedule. So when you are away from your baby, if your baby eats every 2 hours, you should be pumping every 2 hours as well. This is vital for your supply. So if you need to talk to your employer about pumping, having a safe, clean place, calm place to pump, you should definitely do that. When bottle feeding your baby, it's important to remember that breastfed babies do not drink more than 2 to 3 ounces of breast milk at a time. So that's what you're going to be putting inside of your bottle. Also, the good thing about paced bottle feeding is if your baby's not overeating, that means that they are not going to outdo you as far as if they are eating more than you are pumping throughout the day, you're going to hit a point where you're just not going to have breast milk anymore. So this is going to save you the trouble of having to formula feed if you do not want to formula feed your baby. So to start paced bottle feeding with the Minbie bottle, what I want you to remember is that we are going to forget about everything we think we know about bottle feeding a baby. So we are not going to lay the baby flat when we're feeding the baby. We are going to sit them up. When you lay the baby flat, what happens is the milk comes quickly and starts rushing into the baby's mouth. The baby will drink the milk very, very quickly. The baby's eyes will widen. You will see their eyebrows will go up. They are trying to keep up with the flow. What also happens is they will drink all the milk very, very quickly. Baby will still be hungry, and the person who is bottle feeding your baby thinks that you have not given them enough milk. Well, this is because it takes time for a baby's tummy to tell their brain that they are full. So now what winds up happening is the person who's caring for your baby now puts more milk into the bottle and gives your baby now more milk. So what happens is your baby has been overfed. Your baby starts to associate this really full feeling with this is how they should feel at every feed. So when the baby comes back to being breastfed, the baby's no longer happy at the breast because the baby wants large amounts of milk because they have associated fullness with this being really full that they're experiencing at the bottle. They can also start to favor the bottle because it's less work. They're not having to work for the milk like they do at the breast anymore. So what we want to do is we want to mimic what the baby does at the breast as best as possible. So what we can do to help with that is we're not going to lay the baby flat. We're going to sit the baby up. We're not going to put the bottle in the baby's mouth. We're not going to angle it down. We're going to come straight into the baby's mouth. Now when we are putting the bottle in the baby's mouth, we're not just going to shove it in the baby's mouth. We're going to kind of tickle the baby's nose, tickle the baby's upper lip with the teat, and once the baby kind of opens up wide, just like we expect them to do at the breast, that's where we are going to give them the nipple. Now, once the nipple is inside of the mouth, we want to leave the nipple empty for a few sucks, because when the baby's at the breast, that's also what they are experiencing. They're not getting milk right away. They have to suck a little bit, and then the letdown reflex happens, and then they get milk. So that's what we're going to do at the bottle. We're going to put the bottle in. We're not going to have any milk at the nipple at first. We're going to let them do a couple sucks. Then we are going to give them a little bit of milk. Now we can tilt the bottle a little bit forward, but what we're not going to do is we're not going to fill the nipple completely with the breast milk. We're going to give them just enough, just a little bit, okay? Now babies who are breastfed, and even those who are formula fed, have a natural pause. They will suck and then they will pause, they will suck and then they will pause. So the person who is bottle feeding your baby needs to pay attention to when your baby has their natural break, their natural pause. So the baby's sucking, baby will pause. And what we do is we're gonna bring the bottle down, okay? We're gonna wait. We're gonna give the baby their natural break. We're gonna wait till the baby resumes sucking. Once the baby resumes sucking, we're gonna bring the bottle back up. Again, we're not filling the teat with milk. We're just giving them just a little bit at a time. We're letting the baby suck a little bit more. Baby's gonna take a natural break, stop sucking. We're gonna bring the bottle down a little bit. We're gonna wait, okay? We're gonna give a little pause. We're gonna be very respectful of the baby and what the baby does at the breast. Baby's gonna start sucking again. And we're gonna start feeding a little bit again. We're never gonna have this nipple full of milk. We're gonna respect the baby's natural pause, okay? So this is kind of a back and forth game, and it takes time to do this, yes, but this is respectful of the breastfeeding baby. When you are doing paced bottle feeding, what you will find is that the baby is satisfied on their 2-3 ounces on the bottle, just like they would at the breast. What you can also do midway through the feeding is you can switch positions to the other side. You can move the baby to this side, so then now we're feeding on this side, because naturally that's what happens when a baby's at the breast. We go from one breast to the other. So we always want to keep in mind what the baby does at the breast, we want to do at the bottle as well. Remember, when you are using this bottle, that you can also buy the paced feeding teat, so that's what you're going to want to be using as well when you are doing this. I want to remind everyone as well that what tends to happen sometimes when a baby takes their natural break, someone's natural reaction is to kind of wiggle the bottle in the baby's mouth, or to kind of touch the baby's cheek to get them to resume sucking. We don't want to do that. We want to respect the baby's natural break, natural pause, okay? We are pacing out this feeding. So we don't want the baby to do this feed really quickly. We want to make the 2 to 3 ounces that you have in this bottle last, because we want to mimic the work that the baby does at the breast. We want the baby to also do the work at the bottle. We don't want the baby to start favoring the bottle because the flow is so much quicker, the feeding is so much faster, baby's feeling really full. And I also want to say that this is also a good technique to also use with babies who are formula fed. Babies who are formula fed tend to have a higher chance of obesity and so many other things, and that is mostly directly correlated to people not pacing the feedings at the bottle. So even if you are not breastfeeding or chest feeding and you are formula feeding, this is a good technique to still use on your baby. I encourage you to also burp babies when they are using the bottle, as they tend to get a little bit more air when they are on the bottle. But I also want to let you know that these teats do come with a vent at the top, which is going to be releasing a lot of the air that can get trapped inside of the nipple again, which is why I am telling you this bottle is excellent for so many things, you guys. I can't say enough good things about this bottle, about this teat. I was lucky enough that a client of mine let me borrow her baby to show you guys what paced bottle feeding looks like when you're actually using a live baby, because I feel like talking about this is awesome and explaining it is great, but I also feel like showing you how to do this is going to be a great way for you guys to visually see what is happening, what's happening between the communication between me and the baby and the bottle. So once you have your breast milk defrosted and ready to go, what can also help to keep the baby calm is if you have an item of the mother's or daddy who the baby recognizes to help keep the baby calm. Okay. What we're not going to do is we're not going to lay the baby flat. If you lay the baby flat, what will happen is the milk will transfer to the baby very, very quickly. So what we want to do in this case is keep the baby more upright. What we're also going to do is we are going to put the nipple on the baby's nose and mouth. And you see how the baby opens nice and wide. Okay, baby's testing it out. Baby's suckling, getting milk, taking natural breaks. So we wait till the baby's ready to suck again. Baby's sucking, give a little bit more milk. Baby's taking another natural break, sucking again. Little bits at a time. Baby's upright. Baby's having a natural pause. Then we give a little bit more milk. As you can see, we respect the pause of the baby. Just like the baby does at the breast. We don't force milk into the baby's mouth. What a lot of people will do is they'll shake the bottle a little bit to get the baby to resume feeding on the bottle, and we don't want to do that. We want to let the baby choose their natural break, their natural pause. We want to mimic what they're doing at the breast as best as we can. Do you see how we're not filling the nipple with milk? Just doing little amounts at a time. Yes, good job, baby. If you don't respect the baby's natural breaks, what ends up happening is the milk is being forced into the baby's mouth. And so the baby's gonna wind up drinking the milk a lot quicker than the baby likes, and baby's gonna get full a lot sooner. So this baby's mother works full time, and she is able to have the baby go successfully from the breast and back to the bottle with using the paced feeding and the Minbie bottle. Again, I encourage anyone who will be bottle feeding your baby to watch this video to learn how to pace bottle feed. I would say you can start casually giving your baby 1 bottle a day around 5 to 6 weeks after they're born and your milk supply's in and you've cemented that breastfeeding relationship. Give them a bottle once a day. Let your partner do it and help you. This will help get your baby ready for the time where you have to leave the home and leave them in the care of somebody else. A lot of families wait till the last minute to do this, and they don't prepare themselves ahead of time, and what they find is they're stressed out all day because the caretaker calls them saying that their baby's been crying and they don't want to take the bottle. So I feel like preparing your baby for that transition in your life should happen a little bit sooner than when you are ready to go back to work, or if you need, a date night or anything like that. If you want to read more about this bottle, go to minbie.com. It's minbie.com. Everything that is associated with this bottle is just absolutely fantastic, and I know that you can also buy this bottle in glass. So definitely check them out. I want to thank Minbie for giving me this opportunity to talk to you guys and to bring you this education across the world. I feel like this is such an important thing. We don't talk about breastfeeding as much as we should. We don't talk about paced bottle feeding as much as we should. We don't talk about people having to go back to work and leave their babies, and people who still want to breastfeed and they're just not quite sure how to get the baby to go from breast to the bottle and back to breast. And I feel like, thank you so much, Minbie, for giving me this opportunity. Please make sure you visit minbie.com so you can read more about their teats, and you can order some from their website as well. This is such an amazing product, you guys. It's an award-winning bottle. I recommend this bottle to anyone, even if you're formula feeding your baby. It has a nipple design that babies love.